One of the most frequently asked questions right now is when is the Fed going to lower rates and how will that impact your investment strategies? Now, first, we want to point out that in knowing when the Fed's going to cut rates is only one part of the equation. In order to be able to make effective strategy, you'd also have to know how frequently they're going to cut rates, how deep are they going to cut rates, and what is the market/economic conditions in which they are making those rate cuts. For example, when we look at this chart here, what we see is that in normal conditions where the markets are doing pretty well, historically when the Fed has cut rates, it's been good for both stocks and bonds. And this makes sense. Bonds go up when interest rates go down, and if the Fed is making borrowing costs cheaper for consumers, they can buy more stuff, companies can take those earnings and grow them, all good things. But if the Fed cut is followed by a recession, what we see is that the stock market goes lower, and what we're looking at there is something like what we saw in 2007, 2008. In that time period, the Fed was mercilessly cutting rates, but you also had the mortgage meltdown, Lehman going out of business, and some other things. So we can't just look and say, if the Fed cuts rates, the markets are going to do X. We have to know an infinite other factors as well. And since we can't know those factors, it's important that we not try to guess. And so what we do is we continue executing on our long-term financial plan, which assumes that there's going to be both good times and bad times. And if the market does go down because of whatever's happening, the Fed will likely cut rates. The market will eventually rebound higher. And again, we have protections in place so that if the market does go down, we're never forced to sell when things are down. That's essentially how we manage, regardless of whether the Fed decides to lower rates this summer, in the fall, winter, or any other time along the way. So if you have questions about this or anything else, just let us know.